Welcome to In the Center of Her Power podcast, where you can get divine feminine soul food. The divine feminine is reestablishing itself in the world, and you need tips and tools to make it your own. Greetings, beloved. This is Sanaa, and I'm so glad to be with you again today. This is In the Center of Her Power podcast, where we provide you information that helps you live, breathe, and have your spiritual being in the center of your power. Today's show is about meditation. I have been in a couple of Facebook groups, and I realize that there are a number of people who want basic information about how do I get started? How do I start meditation? How do I go on the spiritual path? What books can I read? What things can I do to get started? They want kind of a roadmap. And I understand, because being on a spiritual path can be really scary. When I had a spiritual awakening after my father passed away, it was, it sent me into a dark night of the soul. One, because my father had passed away. And the other reason was because I went through a spiritual shift. Like, my whole world was blown when I realized I could still be in touch with people who had passed on. Like, I could still feel my father's love after he passed. So that really moved me into studying metaphysics through Feng Shui and reading different books. And I just have to tell you that once you start the path, you may find that you bump your head a few times, because some of the things that we have been taught to believe are not actually true, or we don't have the full truth. Let me put it that way. There are truths in all spiritual paths. It's just that right now, as the earth is in a state of ascension, as people are awakening to their intuitive abilities, to their healing abilities, to their true nature. My true nature is as a priestess. And I am an ancient soul, and I came back here to help reestablish the divine feminine. So my work is around the feminine energy, belly dance, song, nature. All of that are the pieces that I came to bring to this time. And before we get to that, we have to just kind of start with the basics. So, the basics of meditation. Someone in this Facebook group asked about meditation. And I had to think for a while, because I started meditation years ago, and I forgot what the foundational pieces are. Several things I can say about meditation. When I first started meditating, I learned through a Buddhist system, a Tantric Buddhist system. There are many ways to meditate. It doesn't have to be through Buddhism. It doesn't have to be seated. It doesn't have to be through any particular spiritual practice. There are ways of mindfulness, and you can journal as a meditative practice. You can draw, you can dance, run. Really, wherever you are, whatever you like, that's where you should start your spiritual exploration. If you like mechanical things, then you can start your exploration with learning some of the histories of maybe Atlantis and or Egypt and some of the things that were created. If you are an athlete, then maybe you want to start with martial arts. So you can begin to heighten your awareness of your spiritual beingness in any situation. I know it's easier, though, if you know particularly what to do. So here's what I recommend. First of all, a seated, still meditation was designed to be the opposite of what men were doing in their regular lives. So if we look at India and we talk about meditation, perhaps the man was out and about moving and getting things for the family, working, and he was always busy. So the opposite of that, to counterbalance that, he needed to sit and be still and quiet in a yin state, Y-I-N, yin. However, and this is something that people may not actually know, if you're a woman and you are kind of calm and into yourself, and you kind of think about what you want and bring it into your awareness, you're not the kind that's out moving and shaking all the time, then a movement meditation would be the counterbalance to that state. So for most of us, we have to go out and get the bacon, bring it home, and fry it up in the pan. So most of us, maybe a seated meditation could work. The thing is, you probably need to do something before sitting to prepare your body for meditation. So yoga actually was designed in India to help prepare the spiritual seeker or the spiritual person for meditation. The movements were done to prepare your body for meditation. And actually also in India, there are a series of, depending on which system you're into, there are a series of mudras or hand gestures that are done to prepare for meditation. There are like 32. And this is not, there's so many different types of religious practices in India. These are just a couple that I'm just giving an example of. So you don't have to do any of that. If you can run, or you can take a brisk walk, you can belly dance, my whole thing. You can do any kind of aerobic exercise. And when you go to sit down and stretch, and your mind is calm, that's when you can sit and meditate. That's really the best time. After you've exercised and stretched, and your mind is awakened, but your body is calming itself down, and your energy centers are awakened because you've been moving and stretching, and that's really the best time to meditate. So that's one. You want to do some kind of exercise before you sit. The other misnomer is that you have to clear your mind. You can't really clear your mind because your mind is constantly moving. It's constantly in a state of analyzing information. That's what it's designed to do. So instead of trying to quiet your mind and really focusing on that, what you can do is allow whatever thought that comes to come in, and then let it leave. Don't attach to it. Just observe. Oh, I'm thinking that I'd like to make hamburger helper later. I don't eat hamburger helper anymore, but anyway, so I'm thinking that I may want to go to this restaurant later and blah, blah, blah. But then once you think that, then you leave, because what happens is in meditation, that's the time when your spirit guides and when the Creator can give you thoughts, awarenesses, revelations. So you don't really want your mind to be clear. You just want to just take in whatever comes and let it go. Just let it flow in and out like water. And just like a duck, you just let it roll off your back. You don't attach to anything. That's the type of meditation that works for me. Of course, there are many types, but the type I like is that where I do some exercise before, then I sit and I just allow the thoughts to come and go. Now, what I learned in Feng Shui, when I was studying the Black Hat Sect Tantric Buddhist Feng Shui, I learned a, what do you call it? Well, of like a little song, like a vocalization. And it's designed to calm your mind. And then there's a particular hand mudra that you can use where you put your right hand over your left, your right fingers over your left fingers, and the two thumbs, the tips are touching. I usually do the left hand over the right, but I read in this book there's right hand and left. Anyway, you can do either one, and that gives your hands something to do, and there's an open space between your thumbs and your fingers, and that's really kind of designed to just allow energy to flow. Or you can just put your hands on your thighs. Put your feet, sit in a chair, put your feet on the floor, and sit up straight, breathe normally, and just allow, you can let your eyes be soft, kind of looking down at an angle, because something, a bird or something may come into your awareness that is a sign for you. So it's really good if you can meditate with your eyes open. And this also is good too if you want to meditate outside, because you want to be able to see what's going on. So you want to exercise, stretch, then sit. Sit in a comfortable position. You can sit in a chair and put a pillow behind your back so you can sit up straight. Put your feet flat on the floor so you feel grounded. And then you just breathe normally. Your eyes are kind of not closed, but kind of looking down and out, maybe about 3 feet. And you just sit, and you can start for 5 minutes. It doesn't have to be a long thing. 5 minutes is all you really need. And then maybe next week, after you've done 5 minutes for 3 days, maybe you'll do 10 minutes. And the thing is you always want to be gentle and graceful with yourself. You want to show yourself loving kindness. That actually is a spiritual practice too, to show yourself loving kindness. And it's especially necessary for Black women, because so much of the time, I don't know if you're like me, but I have spent most of my life trying to change the negative thoughts that keep rattling around. And it's not just Black women, it's people in the United States. Actually, I read a book a while ago that said that there were some Buddhist monks who came to the United States to teach, and the students were having a really hard time with some of the concepts, because the concepts presupposed that the person would feel good about themselves. And what the monks found is that the people from the United States basically did not feel good about themselves. So I think that's just a thing in the U.S. And, depending on where you are in the scheme of things, if you're a woman, if you're Black, if you live in the city, if you're poor, then maybe you may have a negative concept about yourself that you may have a hard time working with. But anyway, you can still meditate. It's just allow the thoughts to come and go. Don't attach to any thoughts. And that's meditation. You can also journal to meditate. You can sit, maybe you want to come up with a concept of peace. Write everything you know about peace. What do you think about peace? What does it mean to you? Or you can record it on your phone. Everything you think you're thinking about peace. So there's mindfulness. Mindfulness is just being aware of whatever it is you're doing and be fully present. So if you're washing dishes, be present with the hot water on your hands, the soap, how it feels, the feel of the dish towel. If you're putting dishes into the dishwasher, you can just think about the color on the plates and the sounds that you hear when you're putting the dishes in the dishwasher, how the soap sounds when you put it into the holder. All of it is just a matter of being aware of what's happening. So, basics of meditation. Exercise first, stretch, sit with your feet flat on the floor, sit straight up so you can breathe normally, put a pillow behind you so your back is straight. Allow the thoughts to come into your mind and go. You can start with 5 minutes and then increase. And that's it. That's meditation. So thank you all so much for listening. I'm going to be doing a couple of spirituality basics shows for all of us. It's not even if you've been on the spiritual path for a while. A lot of times you can forget because you get caught up in all these existential concepts, and it's really good to just go back to the basics sometimes. All right, that's it for me. I wanted to just ask you, if you like the podcast, can you share, leave a review on Apple Podcast, subscribe, like, and do all the good things that one does when one likes a podcast. And please reach out to me. You can find me at Center Her Power Podcast on Instagram Center Her Power Podcast, or you can go to my website, centerherpower.com. And I wanted to tell you too, I'm actually going to be doing a free belly dance class. It's really kind of a combination of belly dance and some other things. It's called Belly Dance for Earth and Soul, Dance of the Priestess. Belly Dance for Earth and Soul, Dance of the Priestess. It's a free gift as a part of the Return of the Priestess Summit that is going on right now. And if you have not registered, it's free. You should go there. There are some amazing women who are sharing wisdom, and I'm one of them. My interview aired on Wednesday, the 6th, but there are so many people. I heard an interview today of a woman who is a song keeper and a drum keeper, and her voice is just, wow, it is just phenomenal. So check it out. Make sure you go and RSVP for the free Belly Dance for Earth and Soul, Dance of the Priestess class. And I look forward to seeing you next time. Shine.
If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. First of all, it's free. Did I say it was free? It's totally free. You don't have to pay anything to get started. There are creation tools, and you can edit and trim the end. You can record. There's intro music that you can use. It has so many really cool features that I really needed as I was starting to podcast. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So go download the free Anchor app or go to Anchor FM and get started. Go ahead, download, get started. Let your voice be heard.
Thank you so much for joining me for In the Center of Her Power podcast. I sincerely hope that you were fed with divine feminine soul food. Please like or subscribe or share the podcast. And until next time, shine.